This week on Xenomania, join us as we go to the mall and visit my favorite movie of all time. We discuss consumerism, news, zombies, and the best place to hide out in a zombie apocalypse, and also the joys of George A. Romero. Great zombies, great quotes, and great characters. Also, does a co host slash a favorite movie yet again? Find out. When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. This is Dawn of the Dead. This is Xenomania.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
So what's the holiday for John? Better than Chanukah and Kwanzaa and Christmas and Halloween and Easter and Memorial Day all rolled into one. What do you guys think?
Day of the Dead.
Earlier in the 24-hour cycle.
That too. How about when we do Dawn of the Dead on the podcast? Yeah, this is it for John right here.
And there is only one Dawn of the Dead. I don't want to hear about Zack Snyder. That is
The Snyder Cut.
Not Dawn of the Dead. And I have a Romero quote about that remake.
Let's hear it.
Do it.
Oh, I wasn't ready.
Oh, whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Let's not hear it.
You sent us the quote too, which
I did.
was,
I have it in my
was
notes,
amazing.
and now I've lost it.
Well, he's looking for it. We're doing Dawn of the Dead tonight, everybody.
It is Dawn of the Dead night. I love
the
it.
1978 masterpiece
1978
by George
Romero.
Lucas. Oh, George Romero.
George Romero. Wrong
George A. Romero.
George A. Romero.
George A. Romero. I just said that to get on John's nerves.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said Day of the Dead.
Yes.
Come on now.
Yeah. So, listen, you can't get on my nerves with another Romero movie. None of them are quite Dawn, but
Okay, you know what? For this episode, I'll agree with you.
And for a handful of Lucas movies, I won't give you too much trouble either.
George?
Well, I mean, there's a reason he's a bazillionaire.
Yeah.
Don't talk about episode 1 or episode 2.
No, we're definitely not going to tangent into Star Wars right
now.
now.
No, we are not. So anyway, Zack Snyder remade Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
In 2000s. And here's Romero's quote on the remake. It was better than I expected. I thought it was a good action film. Like, he just cuts it right off. Like, it's not even a horror movie. The first 15, 20 minutes were terrific, but it's sort of lost its reason for being. It was more of a video game. I'm not terrified of things running at me. It's like Space Invaders.
He
There
doesn't
was
like
nothing going on underneath. He does not. And he's right. I mean, if it's an undead dead being, it should not be able to run.
It loses the appeal.
It's a different vibe and a different menace. The slow-moving barbarians are coming from the west, sort of, or the east, sort of thing, is definitely the Night of the Living Dead, the shambling zombies, and it gives the cast of characters the opportunity to seal their own fate, as opposed to not have enough cardio, like in Zombieland, which is a spoof on the Fast Zombie too. But
yeah. It's more dread-inducing. You have one, you can walk by him. You have two, you can walk by him.
And that is one thing I like about Dawn, is that they're running past them in multiple scenes in the mall before they've cleared it out.
Yep. Yeah, and the mall becomes its own character.
Yeah, it does.
Explain yourself.
Oh, I mean, the mall is like the mall is the fifth main character in this movie. We have 4 human main characters and then the mall. And it's the Monroeville Mall. And before we even talk about it, I want to talk about the shame that's coming within the next year to the Monroeville Mall, because it is being demolished.
Really?
Yes, it is being demolished by one of the evil entities of consumerism in our society,
Walmart.
Kind of ironic. Yep, Walmart.
Oh wow, that was a guess.
Walmart. Yeah.
Bastards.
So the lasting symbol of Romero's anti-consumerist movie is being torn down by probably the biggest consumerism capitalist corporation in this country.
That's the
Walmart
biggest irony.
Sucks. Let's name the family to shame them even more.
The
Family is it?
the
Is it
Waltons.
Walton. Is it the
Waltons.
The Waltons?
Yeah, Waltons.
Walton
Yep.
family?
Yep.
They
Yeah.
got
Apple
rich
Waldo.
after the show.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
Basically.
the show made them rich.
Okay, fair.
This is
Bastard.
all. It's all TV money, and then they open some stores and.
They also own
Yeah.
Sam's, which is why I will never shop at a Sam's Club ever.
Mhm.
Ever.
That's
Costco
And-
for life, baby.
Listen, I will tell you this: there are petitions to try to save it. I think if a petition to prevent Walmart from doing something that it wanted to do actually succeeded, it would be the first time that's happened. Because I
Yeah.
don't think Walmart loses these things too often because they really don't care about the communities they're going into. But that's
The only
something for
thing
something else.
the only thing that would change is if Hollywood stepped in or something and said this is like a Hollywood landmark. But they won't do that.
No, somebody else would have to buy it, or the government would probably have to protect it. I don't even think Hollywood could save it. I mean, it's kind of a defeatist way to start an episode on my favorite movie ever.
Well, but I mean, it
No.
really is appropriate, though, because it's very on the nose for what the movie's about. It
Mhm.
can kind of,
Very
we can start talking about the message of the movie and why this sort of jumps right into that. And it's almost like an evolution of the message of the movie.
Mhm.
So these survivors make their way into a mall. What's
Yes.
Romero doing with that, guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's his statement on consumerism. And I mean, when in 1978, when this comes out, malls are just starting to reach that peak that they're going to be on for about 20 years. In the 80s, there were about 2,500 malls in the
Wow.
US. As of 2025, there's like 700. And
Wow.
that trend has led to something that Romero would probably sort of enjoy being named the way it is, the zombie mall.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
700.
Some malls don't even have a lot
700.
of people in there anymore. You
Yeah,
know,
there's
it's
a
like
big one
ghost
nearby
town.
us that's pretty empty a lot. Whenever I go,
Mhm.
it's like kind of scary how big it is and how few people are in it.
Yep. So when Romero gets to the consumerism of this, the first concept is that the zombies are the mindless mall shoppers. And it works for a good section of the movie that, why are they here? Well, it's instinct. It's something they liked when they were alive.
Yeah, he
And
says
then-
that.
Yeah. And then it morphs. Then it morphs to, wait, it's not just the zombies that are the mindless consumers. It's now, in particular, Peter, Roger, and Steven. Fran is always sort of held out on them all. She's never 100% bought in. But you start getting Peter and Roger and Steven falling in love with the concept of staying here because the stuff is there. You know,
Right.
they kind of become the George Carlin place for my stuff joke. My
Yeah.
stuff is here. This is where I am. And, it is probably a fairly seductive concept to flee and seek shelter in a mall.
We've all fantasized about it.
Yeah. And this is Dawn of the Dead is where that fantasy comes from, that I'm going to be trapped in the mall and have to survive in the mall. And look at how much stuff is here.
Yeah, they have
And-
everything you could ever want. Everything. Non-perishable foodstuffs galore. Perishable foodstuffs galore, too, that they got to get through before it goes bad. Weapons, clothes, toys.
Mhm.
That mall had everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a big
absolutely. So, back to the mall stuff a little bit. The first mall opens in Edina, Minnesota in 1956. And that's out of necessity. Edina, Minnesota has over 100 days a year where the average temperature is below freezing.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not you don't want to walk store to store. Like the typical shopping at that point was, strip malls and walking to stores and, the city streets where it's store.
Like
Once you
outlets.
get to and once you get to the suburbs, you have that problem of things are spread out, so you can't just walk to the next store.
Is it a mall though if there's no Panda Express?
Yes.
It's a philosophical question.
No, I don't. I
There's
think a Panda Express to maintain your status as a mall, you must have a Panda Express, a Subway, or a Sbarro. I think. I think
Okay,
you have to
one
have
of
at
those
least
three.
one of those three.
One of those three. So,
what if
okay,
it's
but
a
if you were a
knockoff?
mall prior to those three restaurants, in order to maintain your status as a mall, you must then incorporate one of those restaurants.
Yes.
I agree
Yes.
with your stakes.
Yes.
I feel like any mall I went to had to have like a McDonald's or a Burger King attached to it.
Yeah, there was almost always at least a fast food option. It's so funny to look at the Monroeville Mall in Dawn and see some of the Brown Derby restaurant. It's
Yeah.
sort of our mall, the mall near here had a Friendlies in it at one point.
Yep.
I remember that spot. I do remember that spot.
So
Ours is done with Mickey D's and Burger King, by the way. There's a Chick-fil-A in it now. The Evolution. Yeah, that's the fast food option there now. And they have like a burger grill spot too, but it's like an off the map kind of spot.
You know what's another one that picks up now is Charlie's.
I've
Charlie's
never
steak.
been to a Charlie's.
It's not bad.
Yeah, is
Bacon
it good?
fries are good. Bacon cheese
mean,
fries.
Bacon
That's what
fries
I
are good
recommend.
should be the title of your memoir.
Bacon fries,
cheese
good.
fries.
Bacon fries are good.
So, and to get back to the consumerist element, so after you get the founding of the mall, it's so quick. A poll found in the early 70s, Americans spent more time at the mall than anywhere except for home and work.
That's cool. I
By
like
the
that.
early
It's wild.
70s. So that it's the gathering place, it's the shopping mecca. The malls for a lot of communities become everything, with the
Don't forget
possible
they had the
exception.
theaters too,
Yeah,
in many
with the
of them.
Yeah, they did.
yeah, with the possible exception of a grocery store, it's almost all in the mall.
So,
Yeah.
real quick, you said the first mall technically, well, in at least Minnesota was the 50s. I'm shocked that like
Mhm.
malls were created, like complexes like that were created starting from the 50s. I thought it was more of a later thing, like the 70s, like maybe like 72, 73. So I'm a little shocked about
Yeah,
that.
it's the beginning of the 70s that they really start to find their footing and become an important part of society. But even if you think about, before the mid 50s, you don't really have the big suburbs that you have now. And, you go back 30 years from that, you're just starting to get a consumer culture with, the goods that people would buy that way. And you start to get the rise of home appliances and shopping like that and disposable income. Because
Yeah.
if you think about the idea of disposable income, that's not something most Americans had as recently as 100 years ago.
That's true.
Yeah, it's just
So-
living on, but working for necessities, which is kind of what we're heading back toward, everybody. So
Mhm.
congratulations.
And
Coming full circle.
the other thing you can say about
Good time.
the malls that the internet and other things sort of then solidify is they sort of begin to form the American cultural identity where, this mall is going to have a Spencer's and this mall is going to have a Spencer's and this mall is going to have a Spencer's. So you start to be able, if you're in LA or Atlanta, you start to find a lot of the same things. We start to become a less regional country.
Yeah.
That
I-
makes
I-
sense.
I agree with that because, like, I feel like, especially like where we're from, it's like we had specific stores and then they started growing everywhere. And that's where a lot of
Mhm.
them, like, I guess, like, had their fall. Because I feel like there was a few video stores I'd go to, and it was like, I felt like that was like, maybe there was like a few others, but
Mhm.
then once you hear them go across the United States, it's like, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's just sad, because
Yeah.
like you want that personal experience and
Yeah.
to know, not to be a random number, I guess.
Yeah, and then with the growth of malls, by the time Romero is coming back to zombies a decade after Night, when he's tried to make a go with, stuff like The Crazies is close in spirit to the Dead movies, but there's always Vanilla, Season of the Witch, Amusement Park. He's strayed away from horror. And it was sort of his goal and the people he founded Image 10 with's goal to not just make horror movies. But because of the fiasco with the rights for Night, they weren't making money. And then they're trying to make these, there's always Vanilla is a romantic drama, essentially.
I like the
He's
fact I like the fact that he like put his hand in other genres
yeah,
to like show what he can do. I applaud that.
yeah. There's so much to those elements. Like, this is in a way a Maverick Romero surrendering a little bit to the demands of the consumers and to Hollywood to make another zombie movie.
Probably
And you
chapped
can-
his ass a bit, which is
Oh,
why
I'm
he made this one.
sure it did. I'm sure it did. And I'm sure that's why it's funded the way it got funded. It's about a $650,000 budget for Dawn.
Wow.
And a lot of it is privately sourced or from Dario Argento. You sort of view Argento and Romero as peers, but at this point, Argento has made money. And Romero is still kind of a broke filmmaker.
Which is crazy because you get Night of the Living Dead, which of course he doesn't make money off of, but you get The Crazies. And Martin was before this, right? Or was it
Martin,
a
I
little after?
believe, was right after.
Okay. But
What
still,
is-
The Crazies.
Can we name some movies from Argento for the listeners?
The big one is
Contextualize it.
always going to be Suspiria.
Okay,
Yeah.
Suspiria.
That's going to be the big one, but there's a lot. I'm not a huge Italian horror guy. I appreciate the work of the Fulcis and the Argentos, but they're not always my favorite.
He co-wrote Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yes.
Sergio Leone,
Mm-hmm.
which was his step away from the spaghetti western, which is, yeah, you can feel it.
Mhm.
It's more grittier, which I feel like Argento had that grittiness. And that's what you get from Dawn of the Dead, too, is besides the message of consumerism, Romero gives you that grittiness, that up-close personal feel with the characters. And it starts off when they're, I know we talked about where we started off at the mall, but it really starts off with in the TV news station and then builds off with the SWAT attack. Not knowing that these scenes were included, because I've never seen those scenes except from the mall on. So it kind of gives more of a background in the theme that Romero's going for.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree.
and he sort of with the apartments, he sort of rehashes some of the themes from Night with the race and that. Like, you get a very racist
Yes.
few members of the SWAT
yeah.
team.
The guy
Very
with the shotgun
racist.
is wild.
Woolly.
He's an animal.
Woolly.
Willie's
Yeah,
his
I
name?
mean,
oh my
Wait,
God.
what's his
Woolly.
name? Woolly
Woolly.
Mammoth?
Kind of. I can't tell you how long I thought his name was Willie.
What-
But it's Wooley.
He's more of a Willy because he's a dick for what he did,
But-
but no.
You get that which was sort of a Night of the Living Dead theme. You get and the rant that like you could throw it away. You could not pay attention to some of the things that Wooly says, but so many of them are things that you'll still hear people complain about today. Like, oh, look at these people living in these welfare apartments who have it so much better than I do. Like,
Yeah, he calls that out right away.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Bastard.
And to go back to the TV thing, Romero's sort of ahead on what for-profit news ends up looking like in times of turmoil.
Oh,
he
yeah.
does.
Just the yelling at each other.
The yelling at each other, but you have, one of the first time you see Fran after she wakes up, she's pulling the supers, the scroll on the bottom of the screen with the rescue station. She's taking that on herself to take that down because it's 12 hours old and a lot of those rescue stations have been overrun. So that for 12 hours, they've been sending people to die at rescue stations.
Jesus. Yeah.
And then
she calls them out and the guy argues with her.
Yeah, the producer comes in, where's my supers? We need those on the air. Every for as long as they're not on, people are tuning out. Yeah, you're not making money anymore. The world is over. And then it from there, the content devolves into the debate television that is what really amounts to 90% of our TV news now.
Yeah.
Here's our story. Here's 2 minutes on our story. Here's 10 minutes of people yelling at each other about this story.
If this is topical, did you guys see the dude who was wearing the mask, the flesh mask, on famous news network that I won't name because don't want to be divisive?
No.
If you haven't seen it yet, there was a guy. They got called out on having the same experts come on as talking heads all the time and whatnot. So they put one of those, think of Jackass style when he puts the old man face on. He puts a mask on, and you can see the layer of it right here moving as he's talking, and you can tell it's the dude who's wearing the flesh mask. And it went out on the air. I researched it because it was too wild to be true, but it's true. It was like a day ago or 2 days ago.
I'll have to look for that. I haven't seen that.
It's good stuff.
I'll be watching.
Where we were to where we are now.
Yeah. And one of the things I can sometimes be guilty of with Romero and the messages in his movie is giving him too much credit for foresight. I'm not saying he recognized that this was what TV news was going to look like. Dawn comes out 2 years before there's even a CNN. So, the critique is still guys like Walter Cronkite and, an up and coming Dan Rather, who are, pretty staid reporters of the news. They're conveying stories. You're not yet really getting those full-on arguments. But now that's every channel that gives you any kind of news, that's what they do.
Yeah. Unless local affiliates, and then even that's got its own drawbacks that we won't get into right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's even sports TV now. ESPN makes most of their money at this point, really, is seemingly on shows that are just people arguing about the topics of the day.
I remember watching that startup 20 years ago.
I'm not going to say Romero saw this, but he definitely saw that there was an emphasis in news that was going more to money over public safety and accuracy.
Fair enough. All right. Hey, let's lighten things up. You got a game for us?
Oh, of course I have a game. I'm not gonna have you guys guess the theme because I think you would both get it from the first movie.
Zombies. Zombies.
You see, you got it before even the first movie.
Zombies. Oh man, I win. No, I'm a winner.
You got it before even the first movie. So
look at this cover. There's a lot of skin.
We're gonna go backwards. We'll go back. This was supposed to be last, but we'll go backwards.
Okay, so it's keep or cut.
It's stash or slash.
That's right. Sorry. Get with the times, Kearns.
Episode 999 here.
Movie number 1, Night of the Living Dead. Yes, we're going Romero for the game for a Romero movie.
I love this movie so much. I've laughed maniacally hard in 4th grade watching this movie, and the guy getting hit with the fire poker. He's clearly an inflatable.
Mm-hmm.
And just so many things about this movie are wonderful, and I have to stash this. I cannot slash this.
You can put me as a stash too. From the opening with "They're coming to get you, Barbara," just the entire movie, the message. It's, I feel like I don't want to say any age, but anyone can really watch this movie and either be scared, feel the horror, understand the message, but overall enjoy a really good movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would fully agree with that. And I mean, I'm going to shout out a book that I'm currently reading by Daniel Kraus called Partially Devoured, which is a minute by minute sort of breakdown of the movie, and then like some behind the scenes stories, biographies of people. It's really fascinating to sort of get the lay of the land that way around making this too.
That's
All right.
interesting.
So movie number 2. Oops, we went way too fast there. Movie number 2, an alumni.
Aw. How are you gonna do this to us?
Well, he revealed the third film, so this is what's gonna make it hard. But I'm gonna. Is this the first one or the second one?
This is the first one. Dead Snow 1.
I'm gonna slash it. I'm sorry. I love Dead Snow.
Bomb Nazi ist
I'm
und
slashing
Nazi
it.
Wort.
I know
The
what
only
that
good
means.
Nazi, yeah, the
Yep.
only good Nazi is a dead Nazi.
Yep.
Thank you,
Yep.
German language, for being easy
So-
to decipher.
So Ryan is slashing Dead Snow. Kearns.
I'm having trouble because I really don't want to, but I know I have to. I'm gonna have to slash it too.
This
Okay.
is like this is gonna be a hard game.
Yeah, because I know you gave us what's next, but there's
Yeah.
there's probably better coming down because I know there's of other zombie movies I really like. And I can only
Okay,
take 2 more.
fair.
Yep. So the accidental reveal.
Stash.
Is this
I
one of your
love Day of
favorite,
the Dead.
John?
No, Dawn by far.
Dawn's
but
by
I
far.
love Day.
This is my favorite.
I like
So,
that too.
It's just so
I'll-
good.
I'll reveal this now. I don't keep like top 5, top 10 lists of movies, like my personal favorites, except for my number 1, because my favorite movie of all time is Dawn.
Is why
Okay.
this episode is so special.
Mm-hmm.
I
so
mean, I'm gonna slash it.
whoa.
Yeah, I know. I don't have as much of an emotional attachment today as you guys do.
All right.
Plus, I
All
know
right.
I know we've got 5 more.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, I gotta slash it.
All right. Next, another
Ooh,
alumni.
that's brutal. There's some gritty scenes in this movie.
There is. You know what? I'm stashing it. I really love the battery. I really do love the battery.
That is your last stash.
Yeah, I
I'm
was gonna say, bro.
I'm fine with it.
What a
I
sad
am.
night.
Oh, I
Turn out
mean,
to
you're fine with it right now.
I'm gonna have to slash the battery too. I really enjoyed it. It was such a great take on the genre. And they did some things nobody's ever done before.
No,
Mhm.
they have not.
I really enjoyed the
Mhm.
movie, and what they did with nothing basically was phenomenal. But I know I know I need to slash it.
All right. Next. Sorry, Ryan.
You know what though? I'm fine. I'm fine with the battery. I'm fine with Day.
I might have to slash this too,
Right.
even though I absolutely love it.
No more double tap.
No more double tap. I really enjoy this movie, but the problem is that it's in the arena with real serious zombie films, and this isn't
Mhm.
a real serious
Well,
zombie film.
There's
Well,
finding
we'll
those.
see how serious the rest of this
Finding-
oh
game
no!
is.
If I ended up slashing a bunch of movies because I thought The Crazies was coming up, I'm gonna be so sad.
I don't count The Crazies as a zombie movie, so I'm gonna be disappointed.
Oh, that's true. It's a virus.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna slash it. There's 3
All
more.
right. 3 more. So you have to stash 2 of them, and Ryan's just slashing everything.
I'm fine
Next.
with
It
it.
all up. Oh, cool.
Yeah. You want to know something though?
I'll stash Planet Terror.
Planet Terror is so good because you get Bruce Willis as the villain, and it's just a good story. She gets the machine leg, but I always go with Death Proof because I love Kurt Russell.
Mm.
Just love him.
I love Kurt Russell, but I love how over the top Planet Terror is as a zombie movie. Like it takes it so much further than anything else at that point really had.
Oh, I do agree with that. I mean, the biggest scene is Josh Brolin's hand in the door handle.
I mean, is it our girl with a
Both.
We're gonna have to say AR leg.
Yeah, with an AR leg.
There
It's
you
Rose
go.
Rose McGowan, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Good old Rose.
Yeah,
Yep.
she was it back then.
Mm-hmm.
She was
She
too
was a
fast,
lot of
too
yeah.
furious.
She was
Yeah.
charmed.
She was Resident Evil. She was in everything that required a badass female.
No, you're confusing Rose
Oh
with
no,
Michelle
yeah, I am.
Rodriguez.
You're right, I am. Rose McGowan, very different. Very
Yeah.
different.
All right. Ready?
Quite different. Yeah.
2 left.
I'm still
Return
fine.
of the Living Dead.
I'm still
I
fine with my
don't.
choice.
I would keep Day over Returned. I'm wondering what his last one is, or his first one for that matter.
Yeah, it was the first one, so you're in an interesting spot. It's hard to pick.
I'm gonna slash Return of the Living Dead because I
Ooh.
can't take it and keep Dawn, or like I couldn't take it and lose Dawn. I like Dawn more, or Day rather.
yeah.
Derp, derp, derp. Day.
You're good. We're talking about Dawn, so it works out.
The
Right.
Return of the Living Dead. I got my
So the
McGowans
last
mixed up with
one.
my Rodriguez's. Yeah.
I have a feeling, Kearns, you're stashing a movie you've never seen here. So here's the
Probably.
last one.
I absolutely have never seen this movie.
I've heard of
One
this
Foot
movie.
of the Dead.
You never heard
Oh
of
well.
it? Have you
It
heard?
better be good.
You never heard of it?
It's
No, I've never heard of it.
amazing. So the bulk of this movie is shot in one take.
That's
Yes.
Like it's
wild.
just one continuous take, and it's a film crew making a zombie movie when actual zombies start to happen,
That's cool.
and it's bonkers. It's over the top.
Is it like a found footage film?
No,
so to
no,
say? No?
I mean you could make that case a little bit, but it's not. I wouldn't necessarily classify it as that.
Hey, we didn't do the chicken, the
Yeah,
giant chicken zombie
Zombieology.
movie.
Yeah.
Zombieology's not in
I
it.
would have
Yeah.
kept that.
There are a lot that I had to leave out of this. I left probably the goriest movie I've ever seen off.
Train to Busan.
Sadness.
Oh,
The
Sadness.
sadness.
I left Train to Busan off because I don't believe either of you have seen it.
I've
Or
seen Train to Busan.
Brian,
current.
Brian, you
I actually
haven't?
watched a thing on it last night. It's funny you mentioned that.
I got a whole
That
list of
movie's
movies.
that movie's another social experiment style movie.
They're making a
Mhm.
sequel, I think, right?
There's allegedly an American remake
I could get
that's
behind
been
that.
sort of. I may be off again. It's been off again, on again, and it may be back to off. I've lost track, but it was. I don't know the exact title, but it was essentially Train to DC.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like American remakes of like just real quick of like any other cultures originals is like very nerve wracking. Like The Grudge, The Ring, Train to DC now. Like it's like, will you get it right? And then most of the time you don't, or they don't, I should say. They don't get it right, and it's like, what are we doing here?
And yet, I think most of the time we are in the minority in that opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, just based on how well some of those movies have done at the box office, I
True.
think we as, people who love the horror genre don't always accept the American remakes. It's the casuals that do.
Yeah.
And that's why they keep getting made. Like you get
40
a fascinating Japanese story that, you want to translate for an American audience, and that's, you get The Grudge.
Yep, that's true. And that was during an era though of like the Scream movies and stuff that was a different type of production value. So I get that gripe as well. Like 47 Ronin was an example. As soon as you mentioned the remake stuff, I thought about, okay, like there's a big remake of a very beloved movie that was well received by a lot of people. And it's because of Keanu.
Yeah.
100% the Tengu Forest and all that stuff. But it's a different movie than the original. Just is.
I mean, some do work. I mean, The Departed is one of those movies that work. It's a remake of Internal Affairs. Yep, Internal Affairs. So I mean, like, it does work sometimes, but I feel like horror, it just doesn't sometimes get that exact message. But for people, I agree with John though, like the casual viewer, they don't realize there's another one somewhere else. They just know this until years later. They're like, oh my God, there's an original. But then it's like, do I really want to watch it? It's probably the
Yeah.
same, but
Yeah.
it's not. It's different.
No, and it's almost always scarier, almost always gorier, and almost always better.
Yeah.
It's the freedom, I feel, for the European market, Asian market, the freedom to be able to have really no regulations, if that makes sense. Like there's a line not to cross, but it's stretched out further compared to here in America.
Yeah, that's entirely reasonable. I think that plays a lot into it. I think it's cultural. I think we tend to be so prim and proper with stuff like that, and we don't want that necessarily from our movies, especially something that scares us. Hey, we'll make raunchy comedies. America's probably the king of the raunchy comedy. We'll make
Yeah.
ultra violent action movies, but when it comes to horror, this country will sometimes sort of wimp out.
Yeah, they will.
It's
I
that
mean,
puritanical overflow from way back.
Yep, yep. So one of the interesting things about Dawn is if you haven't seen Dawn of the Dead, it's hard to see now.
Yeah, I noticed.
Like there's a lot of bootleg copies on YouTube, but they go down almost as quickly as they get put back up. So, it's hard. And you don't always get great quality, you don't get great transfers. And I mean, that's become sort of the hallmark. It's hard to get a physical copy of Dawn. And there's a lot of reasons for it. The one that most fans, I think, point to is producer and rights holder Richard Rubinstein. He takes a lot of the blame for this. One of the big things was a few years ago, he invested what's reported to be now $6 million to make a 3D transfer of Dawn of the Dead and give it a theatrical run.
okay.
He did. It wasn't terribly well received, and it didn't make anywhere near the $6 million back. So what he's now been looking to do is make up that lost money in selling the rights. And you get, you're not going to get a big studio to release a version of Dawn of the Dead that's worth owning. Your ideal would probably be Criterion or Shout or Arrow. But they're really priced out apparently by his asking point. And this is not common for Dawn up until this era. You could get VHSs, laser discs, DVDs. The Blu-ray I lent you guys was, a 2007 release. So it was out there. It was you could very easily acquire it before that. Now you have to rely on imports. And, there was a time that he was trying to block the imports from being available in the U.S. He
Really?
did not succeed.
Nice.
He did not succeed.
Where did you
And
import
you-
that?
That big boy.
Just before the
Uh,
tariffs.
This was before the tariffs. But the thing with getting import movies physically is they're not coming from another country directly to you. American retailers now stock them. So you have to go to, you're not going to get many of them on Amazon because, the Amazon doesn't have the market for it, I guess, or whatever. But, you go someplace, my personal favorite right now is Orbit DVD.
Okay.
Free plug for them. But they do a wonderful job. Shipping is not terribly expensive. They do a good job packaging stuff. And it's quick. It's not, the overnight of Amazon, but it's quick. So you can get Dawn. You can't get this version really anymore because it was limited and I believe it's gone now. But there's a standard edition of that still has 3 cuts of the movie and some of the extras. This has, a comic book. It has a novelization. It's got, some essays and stuff, plus cuts and extras and so much. There's 3 big cuts of this movie to begin with.
Yes, there is.
You get the theatrical, which is what you guys watched, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, it was the
There's
theatrical one.
there's the con cut, which is 10 or so minutes longer, and then there's an Argento cut, which is about 15 minutes shorter than the one you guys watched.
Interesting.
He tightens it up and like goes more with the action stuff. A lot of the quieter scenes from Dawn are removed from his version.
This is great. So if you're audio only, we're watching Ryan sneezing while muted. It's brilliant. Oh, poor Ryan.
I didn't want to
Bless you.
sneeze. Thank you.
And that was perfect. There's just we didn't know why you muted. I thought you were yawning or something, and then I just see like
That
It's
my
great.
allergies. I'm sorry.
But John, don't let us ruin your flow, man. You're giving us gold
No.
here.
That's why I muted.
Yeah.
But I
Give us-
feel like with Argento, right, from what I've heard and what I've read, is he includes more of like upbeat music, more heavy metal music, more rock music, and it's, as you said, more fast paced.
Yeah, and it's very so the last time I watched the Italian cut, I didn't realize I was watching the Italian cut. I grabbed the wrong disc and I put it on. It's very if you're accustomed to the Romero cuts of this movie, whichever one, it's really disorienting almost because it is just with the music differences, it's a very different movie. And then, he cuts out a lot of, and you're like, you're waiting for some scenes that you feel like are iconic and they never come because it's too slow.
Interesting. Can you touch on the music before we move on a little bit? Who's the band?
The band is Goblin
Yeah.
and they tour.
To this day?
That's I mean, within the last couple years, I think they played New York City.
Nice. Yeah, there's a following, to put it mildly.
Yeah. I mean, and they've done other scores and soundtracks. I couldn't name them off the top of my head because that's not like really where my interest in stuff goes. But
I'll
their
look it
work, the stuff they did on Dawn, I spent, all my driving time yesterday listening to the Dawn score. And
Okay.
you have the beats that you know from the movie, and then you expand some of these things to 5 minutes. And you're like, wow, that's like a real song. That's just not just some moment in the movie, but that's a whole thought out song.
Interesting. Suspira, to mention a movie
Mhm.
you referenced earlier, is done by Goblin. The rest of them, people like John and Ryan might know about them. Beyond the Darkness, Bloodstained
Yep.
Shadow,
Yeah.
Contamination,
Yeah,
Deep
there are a
Red,
lot of Italian, a lot of
Hell of the
a
Living.
lot of giallos and Italian horror and stuff.
Yeah, not as much super like nothing as successful as Dawn probably except for Suspira, right?
I mean, Deep Red is very, like I mean, a lot of that is also cultural. Like it's the Italian movies not necessarily penetrating a large U.S. market. Some of those were pretty big hits for Argento and Fulci and a few other people in there.
Cool. All right, thanks for indulging me because I thought people might be
Yeah.
interested.
No, I love the music in Dawn. Like
It nails it.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
does. It creates a perfect atmosphere for the whole.
the music sort of serves as a sixth character.
I
Yeah,
can
that
see
makes
that,
sense
yeah,
too.
because when it's like, I don't want to say peaceful, but when they're like, when the characters are winning, it's not like
Mhm.
it's a little more upbeat, but it's like upbeat with little calmness. And then when the intensity rises, the riffs get heavier, it gets
Mhm.
deeper, it gets more menacing, and you can tell. I feel like it's like Ennio Morricone, who composed a lot of Sergio Leone's spaghetti westerns. Is you can always listen to the tempo when something good was happening, something bad was happening, something tense, and that's what Goblin does for Dawn of the Dead, and it works.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I mean we can skip a lot of the plot discussion because if you don't know
Yep.
what Dawn of the Dead is at this point, like
You can
Listen,
bring up favorite scenes and stuff if you want.
yeah.
Like
I
I'm sure
mean,
Ryan's got a couple that really nailed.
first off, we got the SWAT scene because again, that was like my first time seeing the new scene, the TV station scene, the SWAT scene, and the SWAT scene is just so
I pause you with that. Do you remember what I texted you guys about the SWAT scene?
yes.
Because I don't remember the beginning of the movie too. I was like, I feel like I'm watching Dirty Harry
Mhm.
with zombies
Mhm.
right now. It was a while. I wasn't expecting it at all.
Mhm.
That
And
shit-
really, the first time you meet Peter, he's very intimidating. He's
yes.
very badass in his, his SWAT uniform with the mask pulled down, and he looks massive.
He basically tells the dude too, "Did you come in here to get blasted?" That kind of thing.
Were you in Woolie's unit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I didn't see anything.
Mhm.
But
So,
it
Ryan, why'd you
just
love the SWAT scene?
it's just there's chaos. You kind of show where Romero's going with it. Yes, because you
Mhm.
get the background of the consumerism, but there's more to the consumerism. It's society as
Mhm.
a whole. How
Mhm.
a lot of us are split, and there are some people. I think the message, at least what I was getting, is there's so many wrong people in power who can
Mhm.
move around their weight a lot, and there's a
Mhm.
few good eggs that are hidden who see the reality, and then when it's that time to like make a difference, they take that step
Mhm.
forward, and that's really much
Mhm.
like Dawn. Like the zombie apocalypse allows Peter and Roger to take that step forward, and kind of like together, like I want to say Romero's idea was, I think his idea was leading to like we all have to get along, we're all equal, and
Mhm.
racism and all that stuff. Because
Mhm.
I mean, even though 1978, there's still racism going on. I mean, it's a
Oh,
little,
absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
I don't want to.
It's peaking, dude.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know a lot of like that time with the racism in the 70s. I just know it wasn't good. You know, I don't know how worse it was compared to like, I mean, the 60s were the worst. I feel even further back, it's even worse. Like you
Yeah.
keep
I
going
mean,
further back, it's
200
like,
years
so
ago, buddy.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying
yeah.
it's horrible. So it's like at that time, you would think we'd be more civilized to it. And that's what Romero's saying, because at
Mhm.
the end of when the zombie apocalypse happens, it doesn't matter the color of your skin or anything. You're all equals and you should be trying to help one another out.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and I think that's part of why I love the SWAT scenes, but they also really encapsulate everything he's gonna do in this movie. You get the action, you get some really great gore effects.
Oh
Like
my God,
Yeah.
yes, you do.
like this is Tom Savini's like
Yeah.
coming out party. Like look at what I can do. And I mean, Tom Savini learned the technique after being a war photographer in Vietnam,
Wow.
and so he did a lot of what his makeup and gore effects were based on things he saw.
See, that's crazy. I didn't even know he was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Savini's a fascinating guy too. I'd love to talk a lot more about him at some point. I mean, but so you get that, you get the gore, you get the action, you get introduced to two very significant people, but you also get the quiet moments. After Peter threatens Roger, you get the one-legged preacher come through, and that moment, and where he's telling you exactly what Ryan just said. We have to stop the killing.
Mhm.
He says, I think right now you are stronger than us, but soon they will be stronger than you. And
true
that,
words.
that's what you're talking about. Like that's right there.
Yep.
And then like you just sort of get to in that scene like an almost hopelessness, like how on earth would you even survive this?
That's the question. It's the big question. As you watch the movie, you continually sit there and say, "I wouldn't have done that. I would have done this. I wouldn't have done that."
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for a lot of this movie, I watch it and I'm like, I think that might be exactly what I would have done.
Well, I think so too. For the most part, they make a lot of the right choices, in my opinion. Like
Mhm.
the location, because that's something we wanted to talk about. I think the mall is a great spot to go during the zombie apocalypse, except for the one drawback that there's going to be a lot of people at the mall. And one thing I've learned about people is they're dumb and they're going to do dumb things that get you in trouble. So the mall might not be the best choice, but it's the best choice, but it might not be the best choice.
So my thing about the mall falls into my concept of the ideal number of people you should be stuck with during the apocalypse.
How many?
And it's a very small number.
Say like 5, 6.
Tops.
Yeah.
Tops. Because you start getting, once you get beyond that, you start getting into people you don't know, and you need to really be able to trust people. Like, that's the one thing I think the Dawn remake got right, was sneaking people in that were bit without the other people knowing that they were infected.
Yeah.
And that's a huge drawback of a big group of people, is you start getting people you don't trust, you don't know what they're hiding.
It's true.
And to have it be in a place like the mall with 4 to 6 people, it's hard to defend.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Large space.
The question I wanted to ask you guys is, where would you go in a zombie apocalypse? Where would you want to get stuck? That's a tough call. I know where I would get stuck.
Don't go first. Don't go first, because I'm sure yours is going to be pretty good. But in our day and age, it's got to be some sort of consumerist center. If we're leaving our home, if we're not allowed to say, like, I'm staying here.
No, you can say wherever you want. Like,
My
I'm not going.
I love my ability to get to my roof and see 360, baby.
Mhm.
And I got a high ground and a low ground, and I got water all around me, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. I got the pump house too, right in the back, so I can get actual well water for very little electricity if I can make that work. Plus, there's a generator over there. Never mind. I don't have to worry about electricity. I just got to get some fuel. So I might stay home if that's on the table, to be honest with you. Like, generally, I like to stay home now anyway, so.
Fair.
I got
Ryan?
windows on every side of the house. You're going to get seen.
everyone.
You're going to get seen.
See everyone.
Well, I mean, you
outside,
got to
it's-
board those.
Well, yeah.
Well, the first story ones, second story ones.
Yeah.
What if they start climbing?
They won't. We're not dealing
This
with
isn't World
dumb
War Z.
zombies. Yeah, we're not dealing
Hold
with
on,
those
hold on.
ones.
In Dawn of the Dead, though, the zombies do climb that ladder.
They do, but I'm not gonna
Yeah,
leave
they
the
get up
ladder
the
out.
ladder.
do.
But yeah, I'm not leaving them a ladder. That's actually my least favorite part, is that the zombies figured out how to climb a ladder.
I was watching. I was like, it's different, but I think it works because it shows they're evolving and it leads to day. But that kind of leads to where I would go. I would be in a mall. Like, if there was a mall, some malls have a grocery store attached to it. Do something like that. Some malls have a Home Depot. Everything's there: food, entertainment. Go to
Mannequins.
mannequins. Kim Cattrall. Go to the local Macy's.
Ooh.
What?
So some love interests.
Yes,
Exactly.
the bikers sure thought. Oh my God, thought so. When they were running out of the department store, one of them had a mannequin.
Uh-huh.
That's a good scene too, actually. But
There's so many.
but the mall would work for me. I feel like it'd be easy. Like, if these are the slow moving zombies as we're talking about, they'll be easier to corral, take out. You take them out one by one. There's a little more strategy, but it'll work.
It'll work.
I'm staying right where I am now.
Oh, so you are staying home?
But not specifically the upstairs in my home.
Yeah, that's a big.
I'm gonna board up the windows and the door downstairs. Anything that's reachable from the ground is gonna get boarded, and then I'm taking out my stairs.
Oh, that's
Okay.
smart.
I'm destroying the stairs. I'll have a rope ladder to go down to the first floor and a rope ladder to go out the window or from the roof, because I will cut a hole in the roof so that should anything go wrong, I have that as an escape route.
Okay.
Fine.
And I'm
The only
staying
problem
here.
with that is the weather. The hole in the roof makes it difficult to insulate you from rain and.
Yeah.
Put like
But
a
I mean,
hatch. Hatch.
yeah, there are ways to do that. Like, I mean, I've had a lot of concepts of this idea over the course of my life.
Sure, you have.
I've had a lot of them. One of them was, going to the nearest weapons store and staying there.
Yeah, everybody thinks about that.
And that's why that comes out.
The problem is walking in the door of
Mhm.
that place. What are you meeting? Probably
Yeah.
not friendly people happy to see you.
No, everybody's gonna have that idea. The other idea I had was like a BJ's type of store.
Mhm.
Ooh,
You know, it's
good
not
idea.
not the size of the mall, but still with the essentials.
Yep. The problem with that is if they get in, it's just an open space.
Mhm.
You're just booking it down aisles
Mhm.
until you get
Which
snagged.
generally with most of those stores, there's not a ton of ways in and out.
Right.
Because that's the other complication with a mall, which is why what they do in Dawn to keep themselves safe is actually fairly genius by putting up the fake wall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
'Cause
True.
there's no trace that they're actually in there, until
Well,
you get to some
yeah.
tragic events and the clear indications that zombies do have some memory.
That's interesting. That's also a good segue into our favorite zombies.
It is.
Our
Yes.
favorite zombies. So John posed this to me earlier and was like, oh, I didn't really think about it. Now I got to think about it. But no, one did pop out at me in thinking about it is the arms loving zombie. I'm using arms because I can't say the G word, but the one he's got a
Oh,
a
where
long
he's
barreled toy that he's walking around with for the whole movie. And then at the end,
Mhm.
my favorite part is when Peter comes out and switches with him.
Uh-huh.
Dang it, I said the
Yeah.
word. He hands him the
Yeah.
thing, his force multiplier, and he's like, oh, it was a good one.
Mhm.
The zombies
And
remembers it.
like I love that zombie because he's proof that the zombies can operate doors.
Yeah,
yes.
he opened the door.
The first time you meet him, he's outside the department store, the department store door when he acquires the force multiplier.
Yes.
Then when they're blocking off the entrances with the truck, he's clearly outside.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then he's back inside by the end. After the raiders have broken in, he's
he
back
makes it to the
inside.
roof and he climbs
Yeah,
the
he
ladder.
makes it to the roof.
Growth of
So
intelligence.
zombies can and that's going to be like that's sort of a controversial theme with a lot of Romero people later on, like with Land in particular, where
Mhm.
he's shown evolution in the zombies, where they're sort of starting to think about stuff. But it's always been there.
Yeah.
He's always done that. They've, and that's one of them. Like that's one of those sort of, Bob learned to use the multiplier in Day.
Good old
So-
Wild
Bob.
too. Good old Bob.
Oh,
What's your favorite zombie, Ryan?
spoiler alert, just gonna reveal it. It's Steven. When Steven gets turned into a zombie, it was much of a shocker because I forgot about that, seeing it all those years ago. So I saw that, I was like, oh man, there goes Steve. Fran doesn't have her guy. Well, she kind of has a guy in Peter. I think Peter and her make a better couple. But Steven gets like eaten alive and he becomes a zombie. And that's where we get the whole reveal of the staircase because he remembers where it is. And it's a nice like little transition.
Mhm.
After he becomes a zombie, he leads the pack and he stares at the wall for a minute and then starts roaring, tears it down, and goes after everyone. And it's big in George Romero's Dead series, I feel, because you get Night, and then this being his second outing, he had to make it bigger than Night because of everything that he went through. And
Mhm.
how do you do it? You give the zombie intelligence and you evolve
Mhm.
them. And I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, John, but I think that he had the zombies evolve. And I think that's where he was going with this story. And it kind of connects to
Mhm.
what Sam Raimi just did, where he actually gave an outline for what he feels how the Evil Dead should go. And it's just an exact outline of from the first movie to the
Mhm.
last movie he believes should be the
Mhm.
last. And I believe if Romero did that, I think we could have seen more of where he was going with it. But I think
Oh,
he was going with that whole evolution.
Oh yeah, he absolutely was because it's in the book. It's in
Oh, okay.
So the book The Living Dead, which he had written, I mean, the amount varies depending on who you listen to, but it was finished by Daniel Kraus, who I've already mentioned, and who I didn't realize wrote The Shape of Water.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know that. I didn't know that dude wrote The Shape of Water.
Pretty sweet.
But anyway, he finished The Living Dead after Romero died based on notes and parts that Romero had already written, because among other things, apparently Romero wrote a ton but never finished stuff.
Makes sense.
Okay. He,
So
yeah.
this is the big like conclusion to his Living Dead series, and it's all evolution. Like at that point, the zombies have like basically fully evolved into a whole other species.
And that
Yeah.
comes up in a bunch of different films. I Am
Mhm.
Legend is famous for it, but it didn't.
Mhm.
It co-opted it. It didn't invent it. I think a lot of people probably noticed it in Romero's work and mimicked it.
Yeah,
To be honest with you, because it's a great concept.
yeah,
Yeah, it
Mm.
is. The idea
yeah.
of the
But
evolution.
it sort of brings the zombies back full circle.
Yeah, and then they're like the next versions, and the humans that
Mhm.
were there are not there anymore.
But
Interesting.
but it also does that book does establish sort of a life cycle for the zombies, like a
Well,
natural life cycle
a
where
la
it's the
28 years later.
yeah where they do end.
Okay.
Like they do have a lifespan.
Interesting. That
What's
is
the
interesting.
life?
I have to ask you about that.
What is the
It's
lifespan?
I'd have to flip back to the end of the book, but it's 20 plus years.
Man, it's not terrible. It's better than a cat. By the way, did you see the thing I sent you about the cat pill or a cat shot that makes them live twice their natural lifespan?
Yes.
Very
Mhm.
controversial, that shot.
Yeah.
Basically, it just elongates their ability to use their kidneys
You
for
would
twice as long.
you wouldn't do it?
It depends. Is the rest of the cat going to be happy,
Yeah.
or is it just two kidneys that function in a geriatric cat that wishes it was DEAD?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough call. I don't know. I don't know if
See how
you
it
would
goes.
have to like if it was beyond just like eliminating the kidney issues, then I'd probably do it. But if it's just gonna, having had the number of cats that we have and have had, I know the number of other things that can go wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The big C being one of them.
Yeah.
But I digress. John, did you have a favorite zombie?
I have a different favorite almost every time I watch it. This time, I think it's the scene where they stop to refuel the helicopter.
Yes.
I've always loved the one that like loses the top of his head to the helicopter.
That's a pretty
But
good.
this time, the one I really liked the most was the one that corners Peter in the building with
Okay.
the red and black flannel and the messed up face.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That one I really liked this time.
Interesting.
Yeah,
And there's other notables. There's the Harry Krishna we all
Mhm.
heard about in the
The
past.
Harry Krishna one is great.
And there's a ton. But yeah,
John, do you got any reviews for us? Because I can't see a half star on this film. I can't even see a 1.5 star. This needs to be
I'm
5 star,
sure
6
we
star,
are.
7 stars. There's a half star. Dude, don't lie.
Come on, you know I found him.
That's a travesty.
You know I found him.
I dated a girl named Travesty.
There's
I
been
got him with that one. I got
Chris-
John.
there's been many.
Yeah, I mean that would be the title of my book on my love life.
Travesty with devil horns over the Y.
Amazing.
Okay,
All right, reviews.
so Dawn of the Dead currently sits at 92% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 90% audience score.
Wow.
So, we're there. 5 stars. Not only the greatest zombie film ever made, quite possibly the greatest commentary on humanity's pettiness and fragility ever committed to film. Repeated viewings required from legendary indie filmmaker George A. Romero. Lots of gore, so be ready.
Good review too.
Review.
And I didn't write that. I agree with it to great degree, but I did not write that one. as promised, I found the 1 stars. I have 2 1 stars. I wasn't going to do 1 stars because of my feelings for this movie, but if I do it for everything else, I have to do it for Dawn. 1 star. How is hell does this movie have high rating? This movie was terrible. Zombies were slow and stood still all the time. They were terribly put on with simple pale blue and had no sense of horror in throughout the whole movie. There was no fear in this film. A kid could watch and know it's child play. Movie was garbage and climax was dull and dreadful. Ames stop watching go how much this movie sucked. I had this film, of course. I understand it was made in the 70s, worst decade. This film is overrated by complete 80%. Films deserve percent 25 at most.
Was this written by a zombie?
It sounds like it.
I think so.
Feels
very
like maybe
upset.
it was.
I think this was written by the Hare Krishna zombie.
I don't know, man.
Unfortunately, this is not the only 1 star review I was able to find. 1 star. This, hands down, is one of the worst movies I have ever seen. So frickin' stupid. Horrible acting, horrible script. Everyone is portrayed as a complete idiot. I don't get the hype. And why is it so popular? It is complete junk.
Wow.
You're a junk, sir. Not you,
Yeah.
John, but that
You,
person.
sir, are what we call an idiot.
Yeah, that's not even somebody trying to be edgy. That's just somebody who's awful.
Yeah.
They don't see the big picture, and that's the thing. You know what? You want to watch
Bad English
something
teachers.
simple.
Can't deal with bad English teachers. Got to train these kids to see these things for what they are.
Agreed.
Can't just see the grainy of camera and be like, movie bad.
Mm-hmm.
Herbider.
Yeah.
That's why you got to push
Yeah.
the black and white films. Show more passion. Hard to watch, but more passion.
So, knowing how some other people think of Dawn, how about you guys?
We could lose a friend right now if you want to, Ryan.
What?
Good.
What do you mean?
1.5 stars. Yeah.
Good.
Oh,
Good.
you really?
You would never
Oh.
talk to us again.
I would never, ever.
So I'm going. Oh man, this is changing my review because I was gonna go with a 1 star. No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
right.
go with 5 out of 5. Yes, it is a perfect movie. It is excellent. It's very enjoyable. The message is deep. The acting is very well done. The story is well done. The evolution of the zombies growing the sequel for Night of the Living Dead is shown. You know, he has like a story arc that I would say he really jump starts it more with Dawn. Like Night is that start, but Dawn is the center of the attraction. You know, it's like Evil Dead starts it, Evil Dead 2 is the main star. And he just nails it. And puts him more in the spotlight. And then you get Day, you get Martin, you get more classics from him. And just a great movie. Watch it. Watch it, people.
Yeah, watch it again. If you haven't.
Absolutely.
I'm with Ryan, not just to make John happy. This is one of the rare 5 out of 5s for me. You got the character development, perfect tension building, the camera work, the way they cut the scenes together, the overall message and hidden themes and motifs. I love the Easter egg stuff. I'm just kind of obsessed with that in general. The fact that it's an older movie usually makes it difficult for me to like stay tuned in because my brain is rotted over the last 10 years. And this didn't. I had no trouble I did watch it in 2 sittings because I had to go to sleep. I didn't want to go to sleep, which is a good sign too. I just loved it. I even thought maybe the ending, because I knew the ending was going to be rough compared to the endings I'm used to, and I think he nailed the ending too. They chose the right ending, to be honest. They gave us a little bit of happiness, but they had no trouble carving out characters, and that was good too. Yeah, it's a great movie. 5 out of 5.
Did you think it was shorter? Is that why?
Yes.
okay.
I did not assume the runtime was as long as it is. Well, I was watching it. I was like, all right, well, I probably got like 20 minutes left. I can grind through that. And then I looked and it was like an hour and 5. It's like, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
bedtime.
Yep.
That's the problem. Not problem, but that's what I ran to. I just pushed through it. I was like, it'll be done like in like 20 minutes, and then I was like 45 minutes left. I'm like, okay, I'm already in this. Let's just do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Once you get under 45 minutes, you have to push through.
Yeah.
John's famous for not loving movies that run past about an hour and a half, too. And this is his favorite film, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I've said it's my favorite movie. I've given other movies on this show 5 stars. Dawn is like the super 5.
This is your
Like,
blue star.
This is the blue star 5. This is it. I will put it this way. Nothing about me exists the way it exists without Dawn. Like
Wow.
Dawn, like I had seen horror movies before Dawn. Dawn's the one that made me fall in love with horror. It made me fall in love with zombies. It gave me my relationship. Like I met Allison online. We had some conversations, and you're in that sort of phase where you're like, I don't know, is this gonna be something? Like, and then we talked movies, and this was like the first movie that came up, and it was like, all right, well, she knows Dawn of the Dead. Wait, she loves Dawn of the Dead? I mean, I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
this is
Cool.
I was done. I mean, I would like. I knew then probably where we were gonna wind up because of this movie.
It's amazing. I never knew that, by the way. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
that's
cool.
our meet cute. It's us geeking out about Dawn of the Dead for 45 minutes.
It'd be tough to beat that review, ladies and gentlemen, right there. I got married because of this movie.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, it definitely played a part
Cool, man.
in
Very
our
cool.
in our zombie themed wedding.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
cool.
Wish I knew you back then. I would have loved being at that wedding.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I'll be there when you renew your vows. All right.
Yes.
So
The second time we renew them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You've already renewed
'cause
them?
5 years we renewed our vows in the Night of the Living Dead cemetery.
Oh,
That's
neat.
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Damn it. Stop being so awesome.
I think there's video of that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see that. Can we pull that
I'm
up?
gonna have to
in
see
about
if
a
I can
week,
find
Do
it.
it.
That'd be sweet. All right. I think it's time for us to do our top 5s. And let's be expedient
can do
about
it.
it, gentlemen, because I am tired.
Top 5's expedient. I don't know that word expedient, but we're doing top
I'm gonna
5.
get a cardboard cutout of me to sit here. Like
Just
I'll make a sandwich.
the stand-in, and then it's like starts
You're-
crumpling over. It's like, what happened? It was the
What's
stuff.
going on?
It's the stuff.
Tough.
But
All right.
top 5. I'm going with top 5 movies that really didn't need a remake, or top 5 remakes that really didn't need to happen because the original is the best. And we're gonna start off with the creme de la creme, and that's Dawn of the Dead. Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead.
Action
Well, I watched it a million times on Stars. I agree with George Romero. As you get older, it's more of an action film. You do get like some pop scares in the beginning. They change it up instead of being the TV station. You're in a hospital. You're seeing the zombie apocalypse happen. She tries to save her husband. Chaos ensues, and she ends up in the mall with like more than, I think it's about like 10 people, right? And it just doesn't it doesn't work. I mean, if it was like we've talked, if it's a different title, it works. It's a whole different idea of the zombie film. It's trying to reinvigorate it, but it doesn't do it because of the title and because Dawn is such a classic. And I'm not just saying that because we love George Romero. We're talking about Dawn tonight. It's just a better movie because there was a message, and you're trying to remake that message, or with that remake, trying to utilize that message and change it and make it modern. You can't because he already said it, and it still reflects today. And I've been thinking about it all week since I've seen it. That message still reflects on how consumerism has taken over, and now it's evolved. Like how the zombies evolved, it's evolved even more. And again, we mentioned earlier with the malls occupying the dead, it's true. Even though they're trying to revitalize malls, everyone prefers online shopping.
Like, you can't knock the convenience. And I mean, I will say this, aside from what Romero said about the first 20 minutes of the remake, there's some moments in the remake that I really love. There's, when they're leaving the mall in the two vans and
Yeah,
they're
that's a
just
good scene.
completely surrounded. I love that visual.
Yeah, it's a good visual. That should have
Zombie
been the
But
baby.
poster. I think it is one of the posters, actually.
I
Yes,
think it
it
might
is.
be.
Yeah, because it's too bad. It's too metal
Yeah.
for it not to be.
All right. Number 4, Ryan.
Number 4, we're
It's
still
just
going
one.
what? Yeah, this is number 4, a remake that should have never happened. Can tie into consumerism because it's set during Christmas, but it's the 2006 version of Black Christmas. The 1974 one does it right. It's the beginning of the slasher film. The call is coming basically inside the house. The killer's inside the house. You know, he's taking the sorority sisters down one by one. And then you get this remake that everyone gushes over or loves because they give the character more of a backstory. They basically Rob Zombie Halloween it. And Rob Zombie does it better with Halloween. Black Christmas is just not a good enough remake. It doesn't hit any spot that the original did, and it's just like a typical slasher film just to make money. Even the newer one, I haven't even seen it, but I don't want to because it just doesn't capture what Black Christmas was. It's the birth of the slasher film. You got this creepy killer in the attic. You got the suspense, the tone. You feel uncomfortable. You feel like you hear those phone calls like the girls are hearing it, and it's personal with the graspy voice. This one, you don't feel anything. What you see the kid eat cookies for like 20 minutes and then some flesh. That's not what it's about. And that leads. Oh, do you want to add anything,
Yeah,
John? I'm
no,
sorry.
no, I'm just gonna add that if you think that the second remake is borderline unwatchable.
See, I won't give it the time of day because there's certain movies, yeah, you can remake them and they're fine or they're doable, but there's some you can't unless you go step by step, which we'll talk about in a couple films, but we'll get to number 3. And I don't want, because when Currents is sleeping tonight, I don't want him to have nightmares. But this is a movie that should never have been remade, and that's A Nightmare on Elm Street. That Listen, I had so much high hopes because I do enjoy Jackie Earl Haley. He played an excellent Rorschach in Watchmen. Heard he was going to be Freddy. I'm like, let's give it a shot. It's going to be darker. They're using the original story that was denied by New Line Cinema to Wes Craven. Let's rock and roll, and it just tanks because they just try to remake the first film and they take away certain parts, replace it, and it just doesn't work. Like the new Skin the Cat, that's cool. It was a nice homage, but it's too dark compared to what the Freddy we have. We're used to a fun Freddy. Even though he's sadistic, he's a killer. Robert Englund put a lot of heart and soul. And Jackie Earle Haley gives you a good character in his version of Freddy, but it's not the same. It's just too serious, and you lose a lot of the magic that Robert Englund has built. And that goes to number 2, The Hills Have Eyes. I love the original. The original is very impactful. Yes, it's Wes Craven. It's a Wes Craven film I do enjoy. I love Wes Craven, except, for a couple I cut Swamp Thing. We won't talk about it. But The Hills Have Eyes was so shocking when it first came out. Um, just the family in the desert and everything goes Ori. I get it. They wanted to have a popcorn film in 2006. They wanted to have a remake. Everyone's like competing again. Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, all these remakes, and you do Hills Have Eyes. And it's just for shock value, I feel. It's more, brutal and it's just more gross, I feel. While with the original, yeah, it was brutal and you had the gross scene that, you know what I'm talking about, you know but it was done in a way where it's like that grittiness of the 70s and it works because it's the 70s. It's a different type of filmmaking. When they try doing it, it's just shock value and it's just like, what are we doing here? To even have an NC-17 version of it, which really was unheard of at the time. It's like, do we really need that? Like the typical idea of like the family who's desolate and born from the government's mistake is so unique and done right the first time. You didn't have to do it again. And that leads me to my number one. And that is the worst remake I think ever made. And that's Psycho. Vince Vaughn. It's just, it frustrates me because why did we have to have a film? And Gus Van Sant is a decent director, but we didn't have to have something that was spot on the original Psycho, scene by
Yeah.
scene. And
Yeah.
like, it's not necessary.
Yeah, you don't need it. That's my least favorite thing that people do is the shot for shot remake.
With
And-
skinny Vince Vaughn. It was
Yeah,
bizarre.
And Anne Heche.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Heche, I mean, okay.
I mean, she's fine, but why are we doing this?
I feel like if they did it where maybe they wrote a couple different scenes, did a couple things differently, I feel like Vince Vaughn could have been a decent Norman Bates if they gave him a little more run. He can play a good sadistic killer, I think. But
Yeah.
you get Anthony Perkins, so you can't beat it. And it's the same damn film. Like, what are we doing
But-
here, people?
There's a quality to the Anthony Perkins version that I don't know that Vince Vaughn can get to. It's sort of like something that makes him human that I don't know that Vince Vaughn would have gotten to.
Well, yeah, Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates is more, he's innocent because like he's got, I don't want to say childlike, it's like a childlike innocence on his face. I can
He's
say that.
vulnerable.
Yes. Well,
That's a
his,
great word. That's the exact word.
I mean, his
Yeah.
one personality is definitely, his other
Mhm.
not so, and that's what blends it so well. And Vince Vaughn, the
Mhm.
entire movie just has like a stern face, and you don't know what he's doing. You don't see like a friendliness out of him. It's just like this guy's creepy from the start, and you just miss it. But that's my top 5. These are the top 5 remakes I don't think they should have been made. But John, what is your top 5? Are you rocking zombies tonight?
I'm not.
George Romero?
There are zombie movies on my list, to be sure. I'm going with the George Romero tree. So
Tree.
all five movies are going to be either Romero or people that he worked with in creating some of these movies.
Okay.
So my number 5 is going to be a movie called Flesh Eater. Flesh Eater is written and directed by S. William Heinzman, better known in credits as Bill Heisman. He is the first zombie you see in Night of the Living Dead. He's the zombie that sets the whole thing in motion by attacking Johnny and
That's
Barbara.
cool.
Yeah, that's him. So, he goes on to, he reprises this role a lot. And really, even in Flesh Eater, which is a zombie movie, he's basically that character still. His own movie, that's what he's playing. So Flesh Eater is the story of a group of college students on a country weekend trip who are ambushed by zombies, including Hinsman, as a zombie who looks a lot like his night ghoul. And yeah, it's low budget. It's very much in that sort of feel of Night, the independent style. So that's 5. Number 4, we're going to go to a Stephen King adaptation. Yeah, we're going with Pet Sematary,
Hey.
Oh,
which is produced by frequent Romero co-producer Richard Rubinstein, who I brought up earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a ton of fun. I mean, and really, you could call Pet Sematary a variation on the zombie movie. You have a cursed graveyard that brings pets back to life, though not as they went into it. And then, I mean, you get the moment where Louis Creed decides, oh, well, maybe I should put Gage here too. And he brings back his sort of zombie evil child.
you gotta watch out for that road. That road over there.
Yes, you do.
damn
Yes, you
road.
do.
That damn road. Folks don't like coming there.
I was worried that my number 3 was going to wind up on your list, Ryan, and we would have had to fight a lot.
Which one?
My number 3 is the 1990 Night of the Living Dead remake.
So, okay, real quick, I was thinking about putting it on there. Not because I don't like it, but I did not because I have a lot of respect for what Tom Savini did. And he did it.
And it's a moment as well where in the script, Romero addresses some things he didn't like about the original. So, Night of the Living Dead 1990 is a Romero-approved remake by Tom Savini. Savini ups the gore. The story's altered in some notable ways, especially in Barbara. Barbara is the character that Romero regretted the most from Night of the Living Dead because of how helpless, how catatonic she is for the entire movie. He felt like it sort of made women seem weak, and he didn't want to repeat that ever again. And you got that in Dawn, you got that in Day, and then he tweaked elements of Night for this remake to make sure that Barbara is a tough woman. So that, I mean, that would have been where I argued with this. That this is a necessary remake because it fulfills something that Romero wanted to correct.
Okay.
And it's just really good. He changes enough of it that it's a unique experience. You know, he changes the end. You have a survivor.
I was gonna say,
You know,
does he live still?
Ben does not live
No,
in the
he
remake.
doesn't. Okay, it's been a long.
No.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Barbara does.
That's-
Barbara does.
'Cause-
And it's her. She says early in the movie, "Look at how slow they are. We could just walk past them," and that's how she survives. She does exactly what she's bold enough to say.
Cool.
So my number 2 has a bunch of Romero collaborators involved. It's Return of the Living Dead,
Okay.
which is written by John Russo, who's was a longtime Romero collaborator, and then they had a falling out, and it led to a lot of the issues with some of the rights and stuff. Rudy Ritchie, who was originally supposed to be Ben in Night of the Living Dead, and Russ Striner, who was in Night of the Living Dead also. So they wrote it. It's directed by Dan O'Bannon, who also wrote Alien.
Okay.
Nice.
So
I didn't know that.
I can almost get to a Romero Alien connection.
That's kind of neat.
And Return is just like, for me, it's the ultimate horror comedy, and it's also a spiritual sequel to Night.
Yes.
John Russo wrote it as, this was sort of originally his idea to be the Night of the Living Dead sequel. And then O'Bannon got it and, did the screenplay and, tweaked the story and added the more comedic elements. And you get this horror comedy that works with, a cast of horror icons and probably the gooeyest zombie ever in a zombie movie in Tarman. And then my number 1, the roots, the foundation of the Romero tree, the one that started everything. It's Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
This list has to end there. Night's just this beautiful claustrophobic nightmare of, the interpersonal dramas, the people not getting along, the people not being able to function. And, you couple that with them just being trapped in this farmhouse surrounded by zombies with, no real good escape option. I mean, this is the movie that set me out on the horror path that Dawn exploded open for me. And then, the Night is the movie. You can watch it just as a straight horror movie. You can add in his societal moments again, the racial elements that he has in there. Night of the Living Dead, number 1.
Nice. Well done. Good top 5s, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good top 5s. All right. Well, that's it for Dawn of the Dead, John's favorite movie, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. We're getting out of here.
We are.
Have a good one.
See ya.